He is not just a pretty face with the best eyes in rugby league. So round 3 is in the books and we have just 3 undefeated sides left in this 2023 Premiership race. But it is the 3-0 teams that have the whole world talking. Plenty of people, including me, did not have either the Dolphins or the Broncos in their top 8. But it's hard to argue that the 2 Brisbane sides have been the best teams in this premiership so far. It sets up what will be the biggest game so far in 2023 on Friday night when the Dolphins host the Broncos at a sold-out Suncorp Stadium. 50,000 fans and 100,000 heads will be in attendance, but we have plenty of time to talk about that. What we need to talk about is this gorgeous, tanned, ripped 20-year-old freak who is living our boyhood dream, because that man named Reece Walsh has turned the Brisbane Broncos from a fringe finals team into a genuine top 4 contender. But ladies and gentlemen, before we get any more into the video, I need you to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. We are on the way to 5k by Magic Round, and if we hit it, I will be doing a massive Magic Round giveaway. So smash that like button, drop a comment, and let's get straight into the video. So for the few wondering, I am recording this video on Sunday night, so we do not know the Dally M votes yet, but it's hard to think that Kevy Walters, now spent with 3 Ws, his new favourite toy, does not have 12 points after back-to-back man of the match performances in his 2 games for the Broncos so far. The man they call Walshy has 3 tries, 2 try assists, 7 tackle breaks, and is averaging 167 running meters per game. But the stats don't tell the whole story, because it's the other players on the Broncos that have benefited the most from the inclusion of Reece Walsh. From his time at the Warriors over his first 2 seasons, we all knew Walsh was going to be a future star, but I don't think anyone saw this happening so quickly. And what's scary is that logic dictates that the more Walsh gets used to playing with the likes of Reno, Ezra Mann, and Paddy Carrigan, he's going to get even better. To put it in perspective, at just 20 years old and 2 games, Walsh has been better at fullback so far in 2023 than the likes of Tedesco, Latrell, Edwards, and many other fullbacks I had above Walsh prior to the start of the season. And I know it's just 2 weeks into the season, but the Broncos are so far the most impressive team in the competition. And it was just 2 weeks ago that the Brisbane boys pulled off their most impressive win of the season so far, knocking off the defending premiers at home without that man Reece Walsh. And despite that win, it is so clear that when Walsh is at fullback, the Broncos are 10 times more dangerous when Walshy is at the back in that number 1 jersey, playing both sides of the rock. Walsh was easily the best player on the field and fullback of round 2 when he debuted for the Broncos in front of a near sold-out Suncorp against the Broncos' biggest rival, the North Queensland Cowboys, a side many have tipped for the Premiership coming off their prelim final appearance in 2022. It wasn't like Walsh was just the icing on the cake against the Cowboys. He was the main man for the Broncos. And then again, this past Saturday against the Dragons, the Broncos, they were under the pump early, and over the past few seasons, it would probably be a game they would end up losing, but not this time, because against the Dragons, they were able to weather the storm and came out in that second half and put the Dragons on the back foot, not only picking up the win, but putting on one hell of a score to go top of the ladder. The Broncos proved throughout the majority of 2022 they were a changed side, and then fell back into old habits to go on to have one of the worst end-of-season runs in NRL history. And that may have clouded many judgment, because on paper the Bronco has one of the best back 5s in the competition, especially considering they just added Reece Walsh. They have one of the best up-and-coming 5'8s, an experienced premiership winning halfback, and one of the best young forward packs, which contains arguably the best prop and the reigning Wally Lewis medal winner. Tamare Martin was awesome for the Broncos in 2022, but adding a fullback who has been one of the best young players in the competition and a born and bred fullback could be what takes the Broncos from a finals team to a premiership contender. Now, I know we're only 3 games in, and after last year, there is a chance the Broncos fall off like they did in 2022. But even considering what the Dolphins have done, I think the Broncos have still been the most impressive team so far, and that just isn't a chance to mention. I tip the Dolphins every week so far, but the Broncos have knocked off the Penrith Panthers at Bluebet, something that has only been done a handful of times in the past 3 years. Then they backed it up, arguably, in Brisbane's most important game, taking on the Cowboys at Suncorp Stadium. They were able to pick up the win over one of the premiership powerhouses. Then to overcome what was likely going to be a Dragons ambush proves that this is a new Broncos team, a different Broncos team, and one, at the least for the moment, contains arguably the form fullback of the competition. Playing behind that fullback off Reynolds and having the weapons of Staggs, Cobber and Farnworth makes Walsh's job so much easier, but he was that link. He was that missing ingredient. Walsh isn't one of those players who spends times in the backs before moving into the number 1 jersey like we are seeing at the moment with Selwyn Cobbo. Since his debut, Walsh was destined to be the fullback, to be the number 1. He forced arguably New Zealand's best ever player in Roger Tuivasa-Sheck onto the wing. So add that caliber of a player to the Broncos team on paper, a born Queenslander, a local junior who was heartbroken when he left the club initially. He had the golden ticket to go back there, and he is proving to be the signing of the year. A unanimous decision. We're only 3 games in, but holy heck, what a start it has been for Reece Walsh on the Brisbane Broncos. We're going to get a few more answers this Friday night. We are the away team, surprisingly, at Suncorp Stadium against the Dolphins. But old gorgeous eyes, old rip bloke, the hottest player in rugby league behind Ruben Garrick. God, hasn't he been something for the Broncos in 2023 so far? So dare I ask the question, is Reece Walsh the man to take the Brisbane Broncos from a finals fringe team to a premiership threat? You guys, it's up to you. Let me know in that comment section below. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the video, guys, and of course subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're on the road to 5k. Let's try and hit it by magic round, but I'll see you guys tomorrow for my tips, and let's get ready for what is going to be an epic Friday night blockbuster.
And you will hear me every week when I